everybody, and welcome to Blue Jays Today, where once again, folks, we are going live for the third day in a row to bring you the latest winter meeting updates, free agent updates, trade updates, whatever updates you want. We are coming with them, guys. There's been so much stuff being rumored, being talked about on Twitter right now. It is really tough to keep up with it, and that is why we are going live so frequently. So good morning, everyone. We're doing this at 11 a.m. just to kick things off, to start your Sunday off the right way. And believe it or not, we do have a decent amount of updates since last night's live stream, literally 12 hours ago. I'm your host, Nicholas Playalog.
I'm your host, Adam Peddle. Yeah, this morning it started off, you had Ohtani put by Bob Nightingale. We're not going to feature him in this video, but like he was saying, Ohtani's going to take more than a week. And we came out on Twitter, we tweeted about it. We're like, what the hell?
Every Jays fan, even Dodgers, literally every
Everybody.
MLB fan, I think, was like, are you freaking kidding me, right? Because right? Everyone knows that that's the big stopgap right now. That's the wall in between the floodgates opening up for free agency.
Right. But then we have some updates, and we're going to get into it right away in this video, that is not necessarily the case. You have one MLB analyst, Bob Nightingale. This is why nobody knows anything. One MLB analyst saying it's going to be a week, but it's going to happen before Christmas. And then you have John Morosi, I'm going to flash it over right now, that said Ohtani is likely to decide on a team within the next week.
Yeah.
Not at least a week, within. So literally the other half of the prediction. According to one source engaged with top-end free agent market. Believe whoever you want to believe, but I am leaning towards that he is going to happen soon for a number of reasons. One, Ohtani's camp did say well before that he wanted to get it done before the winter meetings. There's many reasons as to why that is the case. And number two, you looking at the free agent market, you need it to get going, so you're going to have a lot of teams that are going to be absolute. I see you're looking at your V8. Like,
yeah. So this is kind of like a metaphor for what's happening. I opened it up. I tried to drink some of it. It's completely frozen. It's ice cold.
It's just like the Ohtani market.
Literally, right? So I guess it was just sitting at the back of the fridge. But it is good to hear that, at least from John Heyman's perspective, Shohei Ohtani is considering signing within the week. And I am more inclined to believe his report of things, not only because Bob Nightingale does happen to have a pretty bad rep when it comes to just, reporting things in general. We've seen this guy be wrong about numerous things in the past, but also because I really do think that it makes sense that Shohei Ohtani would want to sign sooner rather than later, right? There is an immense amount of pressure on him right now because he knows he's holding everything up. Right? That is something that's probably playing in his mental. I would not want to necessarily be the full center of attention where everyone's calling after me all the time for extended periods. Even though I need to make my decision and I need to have time with it, sooner rather than later, I probably want to get this off my back and know where I'm going to live, know where I'm going to play, and then really get the MLB free agency underway.
I think more so it is the fact that you need two things for what that came to mind when you said that was, one, he wants to go, I know, there's nothing there. He wants to go and make a decision right now so he can go and get himself situated within that organization. But number two, he's come out and said, well, not him, but other people around him, saying that Ohtani doesn't like the limelight. Right. He really doesn't, but he is right now being blown the hell up. It's kind of crazy that one of the best baseball players in history doesn't like being in the limelight, and he's in it right now. So yeah, maybe to your point, maybe he wants to get the decision done, not only just to like help himself get situated within the organization, in the new city, in the new country maybe, but to also have himself get out of the media a little bit.
Well, it's fucking stressful, dude.
It is.
Right? Can you imagine, and just think from our standpoint, right, we see Blue Jays Twitter going off, and that's just one section of the MLB, 1/30th of the MLB, right? One section of it that's talking specifically about you, and every single tweet that I see, every second, every third tweet that I see is Shohei Ohtani, when are you going to sign? I tweeted something out today saying, like, you got to sign soon, my mental can't handle it, right? Like, this guy's seeing the public, there's a literal outcry going on right now to make your decision, and from his standpoint, I mean, like, really, like, it's his choice. This is a $500 to $700 million decision, so I completely understand why he's taking his time, and it is his life. But yeah, man, like, there has got to be some external pressures going on right now. So if I was to pick one or the other, which one I am to believe, I do think that Shohei Ohtani's decision is going to come within the next week, and I think that you're going to hear so many more rumors about the favorites, GMs talking to Ohtani, maybe even a dark horse sneaking in there during these winter meetings, because they do officially kick off right now.
Absolutely. I want to dive into a little bit of that Ohtani stuff that you're mentioning right there. You know, like I've said, we've said on the show multiple times, he and his camp were supposed to sign before the winter meetings. Well, that didn't happen. The winter meetings are today, unless it literally happens right now. But he didn't do it. Why do you think that is? Why do you think it took a little bit more time? Because everybody out there is saying Dodgers. It's clearly the Dodgers. Well, and I saw people on Twitter talking about this. Well, if it's clearly the Dodgers, why isn't he signing?
Right.
Why is he signing? What other factors could be played here?
Well, okay, there's multiple different ways to look at this, right? Because if he's known for a long time that it's the Dodgers, he's firm in doing that, right? That the only reason, and he's still firm in doing that, he believes that it's going to be the Dodgers. The only reason that you hold out this long is because you're trying to coerce the best deal out of the Dodgers, right? So that could be happening. We don't know, right? That could be happening. He might already have it in his mental that he is for sure going to stay in LA, right? And that could be one of those reasons. However, on the flip side of that, on the other side of the coin, maybe he walked in thinking that, well, it was going to be this team, it was going to be that team, and that was probably where I'm going to go. And to his surprise, there is a little bit more players in the race right now, We haven't talked a lot about the Cubs, but they're still here, and the San Francisco Giants, they're still there too. And then, of course, you have the Toronto Blue Jays, who are really barking up that tree with this high school role model out here, calling him on the phone and saying, listen, dude, like, where do you want to drop for Fortnite tonight? But also, do you want to come and play in Toronto, right? Like, there's that whole element going on right now, and maybe he's a little bit shocked at the fact that, there is so many opportunities, and maybe I need to take a little bit more time and really think this one through before just hopping onto the LA bandwagon and inevitably getting knocked out every year in the divisional round.
See, I'm wondering if I'm thinking that, like, leading up into his free agency, if he had a lot of time to look at other teams, to think about, well, maybe I will kind of explore that option. What would that kind of look like? We said even before the season ended that Ohtani, remember that report that came out that Ohtani was actually interested in the Toronto Blue Jays facilities, and he liked what they had going on in Canada? That came out before the season even ended. So I wonder if that started brewing. Like, I wonder if he had, a kind of a tier list. He didn't I think it'd be kind of ignorant for a free agent to go, oh, it's just Dodgers. It's your preference, of course. I'm just going to go Dodgers. I think Ohtani's the kind of person where he's going to keep his options open.
Sure.
Maybe have a tier list. What do I want? What's the best fit? And that's going to kind of change over the time based on these kind of interactions he's having with the GM. So I think that the Blue Jays, might have been one of those teams that kind of made him think a little bit longer on that decision, because maybe they're offering such a great case and he's got to go back. It's like, you had a great offer on the table. Ooh, let's go back and let's talk about this team. You know what I mean?
I think that you're 100% onto something there, and something that people forget quite frequently is, yes, it's a money thing, but it is also a lifetime thing, right? You are now in hopes you're locking into a marriage. You want to be married to this team for the remainder of your MLB career. In a perfect world, in Shohei Ohtani's mind, I lock it in with this team. I'm there for 12 years. We win a few rings. My number gets retired.
Oh, his number would be so retired.
Literally, in whichever stadium I'm in. Like, this is my legacy. The first half of my career, I'm an Angel. The second half, I'm here. And this is where I make my Hall of Fame resume solidified. This is where it is, right? That's what he wants. So he wants to know that it's not only this year, it's not only next year, but it is for years after that you are going to continue to invest in me. And what can you provide me? What can you prove? What can you assure that other teams are not going to do?
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, man, there's going to be so much going on. Guys, if you're right here, right now, we got 331 people watching us live. Hit that like button. Only 42 likes. We got to get that up to 69 really quick, guys. So smash that like button. And also hit that subscribe button, because like Nick said at the very beginning of this live stream, this is our third day in a row. We're going live again tomorrow. That'll be day number 4. And after that, we got to see what happens in winter meetings. Yeah. We could be going live for a 5th day in a row. You never know.
It might just happen, folks. This is where you need to be for the winter meetings and off-season content. I saw that you were just bringing up the Hector Gomez tweet over here just to further prove the point. I mean, at this point, I don't think that this is even news, but the Toronto Blue Jays are seriously pursuing Shohei Ohtani. This came out only a few hours ago. Like, I think that he tweeted this out literally like at almost 1 a.m. I imagine it's a different time frame for him, but it's just good to know that there are still insiders out there who are coming out and are saying this and just reaffirming our beliefs already. I mean, it's been a roller coaster of Blue Jays are favorites, and then the Dodgers odds start to dip, and then Blue Jays are looking at Soto, and then we think that we're not necessarily in on Ohtani anymore, but him coming out and saying, no, they are in fact favorites for Soto. and they are seriously pursuing Shohei Ohtani, this is a nice place to be if you're a Toronto Blue Jays fan.
No, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Let's pivot actually a little bit. You mentioned Soto. We're going to get to the Blue Jays eyeing surprising trade in a little bit.
Sure.
But I want to pivot off of that Soto news you just said right there. Yesterday, if you were with us when we were live, Soto and the Blue Jays have engaged in some trade talks, and apparently by Hector Gomez, which just flashed up right there, are now the favorites. And a lot of Yankee fans kind of were upset about that. Didn't really believe that, like, there's no way the Blue Jays could possibly be doing this, because it's hard to believe that a Blue Jay team could actually steal from the historic franchise of the Yankees. But it's true.
I tweeted something out. Actually, can you go to our Twitter very quickly? Just pull it up on whatever window right now, because I tweeted something out, and I'm so firm in this belief. I would prefer Shohei Ohtani over Juan Soto if we had to pick one. But there is something that would be so nice and juicy about landing Juan Soto a little bit further down, right there. Right there. Take a look at this, everybody. The best part about the Blue Jays potentially trading for Juan Soto is stealing him from the Yankees. Listen, if there are Yankee fans in the chat right now, I do apologize. Obviously, the rivalry runs deep. It does run deep. However, I saw so many Yankee fans and not even just Yankee fans, but maybe, people who are not from Canada, people who are not from Toronto, tweeting out about how these Juan Soto rumors, well, they're only happening because the Padres are trying to get to the Yankees, right? Like this convoluted, this train of like, well, the Padres are revealing these Yankee or these Juan Soto rumors so that the Yankees will then raise the price. And I just think that it is very ignorant of people these days to completely rule out the Toronto Blue Jays and to say that these rumors of the Blue Jays seriously pursuing Soto and being favorites for Soto is a ploy to then potentially get the other team, the New York Yankees, to get him. So that is why I do believe that it would be so nice if we could steal him away.
I got a thought on that whole thing of Yankee fans thinking that, like, it's a ploy. How, like, entitled is that? That, like, the Padres want to trade with the Yankees. Right. Are you kidding me? If I'm a third-party team, I don't care who gets my guy. Give me the best deal.
For real.
I really don't care. Yes, leveraging is always going to be a thing, but I don't think that is the number one intention of that tweet coming out or like them going over to the Blue Jays. It could. Well, it could be, you're not offering me what I want? Let me go see what the Jays are going to offer because they've been very aggressive. They need a left-handed power bat. And yes, in return, you are going to have the Yankees, maybe they raise their price. I do it all the time in fantasy. Sure. I want the best deal for my guy in return.
But you're also still shopping for that deal with that other team, right? The intention isn't just to get this other guy.
Exactly. My intention is to go, okay, you're not offering what I want. This guy's going to offer me a little bit more. I'll go back to the original guy because you were here first. Okay, so the offer is now this. Can you up it? And then what's going to happen? Oh, okay, yeah, I can up it. I'll go back to the Blue Jays.
For real.
Can you up it?
Yeah.
That's exactly how it works. There's no reason that it's going to be the Yankees just because we're the Yankees. That's just BS.
Yeah.
It's whoever offers the best deal, man.
So, listen, that's not every Yankees fan out there. We have some beautiful, wonderful people who are Yankee fans who regularly come in this chat. But I'm going to tell you from the bottom of my heart, it would feel so fucking good to be able to tweet out, Blue Jays, trade for Soto. Better luck next year.
I love it.
Let's take a look at this surprising trade that the Toronto Blue Jays are eyeing. This kind of came out from left field, everybody. I was not anticipating this at all, and nobody was talking about this. Isaac Paredes, Tampa Bay Rays. They are rumored right now to be shopping a lot of their guys. Glasnow, Rosarina, but not this dude. This dude has 4 years left on his contract. He had a breakout season last year. He plays all over the infield. He's not expensive. I'm kind of shocked at the fact that apparently the Toronto Blue Jays from John Morrissey over here, we're in on this guy.
We are? I mean, look, you knew that the Rays were coming up to a breaking point with their finances. I don't know why. I don't know how. Someone correct me if they made this deal before, or maybe it's an arbitration thing. Or I think they signed this before because it's already locked in. It's on arbitration. But Tyler Glasnow is going to cost $25 million. That messed up the whole Rays organization. $25 million to us as the Blue Jays, that's nothing. Okay, that's your star player. You lock him in. $25 million to Tyler Glasnow is amazing.
Yeah.
Right? But for the Tampa Bay Rays, that's a quarter of your team.
For real.
In fact, that's even more. In one player. That's even more than a quarter of your team because they're starting to say, oh, crap, different than the Padres where they had to loan money. The Tampa Bay Rays can't even afford that. So they got to trade away guys that are going to be coming up and going to get really expensive. And Paredes, if I right there. Maybe it happens when I switch over to 3.
Yeah, you have to switch over, yeah.
Boys mic. That is so weird. I'm not muted. I'm not muted. No, they're messing with us. Oh, what the heck?
Wow.
Oh, okay. So maybe when it switches over to 3.
Interesting.
I don't know. Weird.
Okay, wow.
Weird.
We're figuring it out, guys. Yeah, there's one button that we can't figure out that apparently when we switch over to things, it mutes us. So please, thank you for letting us know.
Yeah.
If we are muted again, let us know. To finish what we were saying there about Paredes, third baseman, breaking out. Scroll back down to his years, please.
Over here?
No. Over to like his seasons or whatever. Look at that. Look at the batting average and the OPS and everything like that. It is slowly and steadily rising. Now, very rarely in sports or just anything in general is it a slow incline.
Yeah.
You know, because we always project, it's like, well, it's going to get a little bit more, right? And very rarely does that actually happen. But right now, you are witnessing you're witnessing exactly that. And it coincides with the age perfectly. He's going to be 25 years old coming into next year. I would not be shocked, surprised in any capacity if this 250 batting average, 352 on-base player, 840 OPS, if this is the guy that he starts to mold into and potentially even grow from that place.
Yeah, no, I agree. And you can't expect him to... I wouldn't put the pressure on him to actually go and actually become like a 900 OPS kind of guy. Like, if he could land and chill around the 800 to 750 OPS, become a above average player, I would take that for third base. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think I figured out I think I realized the solution because I was cutting a clip this morning. I'm going to flip. There we go.
Nice.
That's why. There we go. So we can flash back and show you guys some stuff later. But Isaac Paredes, sneaky trade target for the Toronto Blue Jays. What would you have to give up to get a guy like that, man?
That's what I was just gonna transition to, man. Because again, this would be so perfect for the Jays. Because again, you get him for time. You get him for time. This is your third baseman now, and because this is your third baseman now, it switches for me what you're giving up. I think that Aurelvis Martinez is part of this deal.
Yeah,
I think that Addison Barger could be part of this deal.
I think so, yeah.
Right? Because now you're saying that, okay, we're not going to be playing these prospects because this is our guy for 4 years.
Yeah.
It's the same type of thought as Dalton Varsho, where you gave up one of your young guys, where you picked your catcher, right? And you said, listen, we got Varsho for time. This is going to be our guy out here. We're locking him in for left field. We're not paying for anybody. We're not having any prospects go there. He's going to be our dude. If we're getting this guy, he is now our third baseman for the next 3 to 4 years. That means no space for Martinez and for Barger or for anyone else down there.
I see it like this. Look, if you ask me, okay, what do you want Addison Barger or Elvis Martinez to do production-wise in 2 years? I'd want him to hit... Ideally, if he can hit 800 OPS, wow, we got a steal right there.
We got a guy.
Well, you're just fast forwarding the process right here.
Yeah.
You would trade Addison Barger to move up 2 years because he's got 6 years. Addison Barger when he comes to the league, this guy's got 4 years. So you're moving up. You're advancing the clock
for a more proven commodity.
So a guy who actually did it and more.
Yeah.
So for me, it makes sense. Like if it was just a Barger, I love Addison Barger. I love Aurelvis Martinez. But if it was just a 1-for-1. It just makes sense on paper to make that deal.
It's not going to be a 1-for-1.
It won't be. They're going to want more.
Let's face it right here, folks. This is proven commodities on long contracts. They cost.
Maybe we'll send them some money.
Wow, yeah. That's, honestly, though.
For real.
You know, or, dude, fuck it. We'll take Glasnow off of your hands.
Oh, yeah.
We'll take that money from you. We'll take Glasnow,
they are shopping Glasnow, too, guys.
Literally, right? So, I mean, that could be an avenue as well. But what I love about this deal is, one, you fill the hole at third base. And 2, you're not spending money. And because you're not spending money, a trade like this does not at all impact the Toronto Blue Jays when it comes to going after free agents, going after Shohei Ohtani.
Absolutely.
Now, it might and probably would impact trading for Juan Soto.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because the prospects, the capital that you need to give up to get an Isaac Paredes and lock in that third base bag, it would be a lot. And I don't know if the management would be at a place where they're willing to completely empty the farm system to get Soto and to get Paredes.
No, yeah.
So I think you trade for Paredes, you lock in that third base bag, and then you take $500 million and you put it to Shohei Ohtani, and you say, look, we filled that hole over there. We got this guy locked down for 4 years. Here's all our money. You are our free agent this offseason.
So what would you rather do then? Let's say it's the same amount of prospect to give up for Soto and for Paredes. Who would you rather get? So 1 year of Soto or 4 years of Paredes?
That's really interesting, man. It is a
you
tough
guys,
one.
You guys let us know in the chat too. Paredes for 4 years, or you got Soto for 1 year.
That's a really tough one. It is a really, really tough one.
That
I mean,
is
part of me wants to say Juan Soto just because, like, I really do believe that he might win MVP next year.
Right,
Being
right.
in a contract year, being just the way that he is, I'm gonna bet that he's gonna win MVP next year. That is gonna be my MVP bet, and I think that if you have an MVP on the Toronto Blue Jays, that just you get a better opportunity to win the World Series. I mean,
for sure,
Isaac Paredes is gonna come in. And I think that he'll play well for the Toronto Blue Jays, but he's not going to win MVP. I don't think that he's going to be like necessarily the guy that takes us over the hump, right?
Yeah, no, he's going to be a filler guy.
Correct.
He's going to be in the batting 5-6 and driving in runs.
So from that standpoint, I mean, it's a really difficult, man. It's really difficult. I mean, I really love the idea though. I mean, if you put it this way, if you trade for Paredes, and then you can take the money and you can sign a Bellinger, or you can sign a Ohtani, or you can sign a Yamamoto, then I take that route 10 times out of 10.
Right.
But I think that needs to be part of it as well. If you're trading for Paredes, you get him, and then you need to go out and get the superstar elsewhere.
Yeah, for me, if I'm taking Mark Shapiro's words, I love the words that I've been hanging on to all offseason. Extend the winning window.
Right.
Paredes extends the winning window. Juan Soto helps you win now. So it's a balance act, right? So I do think, and I've said this in a video before, you do want to go get the extending winning window in the free agency market. Maybe you trade for a win now kind of guy.
Yeah.
For me, I just logically, I think I would go Paredes just because I look over here and it's just numbers. 5.5 WAR for Juan Soto last year. Maybe he gets 6, maybe he gets 6.5, maybe he gets 7, and wins MVP. Paredes got 4.2. And if you have him for multiple years, maybe he accumulates 15, So just adding up over years, I think I would go Paredes, but I really am kind of split on this, to be honest.
Yeah, and I mean, also you got to factor in, right? Last year is one thing. I wouldn't be completely shocked or surprised, and we've seen this as well, right? It's not always a linear path.
No, it's gonna go.
Paredes could get worse. Whereas I think that we can all agree Juan Soto is Juan Soto. We know what he's going to do. It will be incredible. So you have to weigh that risk as well. But I do hear what you're saying, man. Like the 4 years of control, that is very juicy.
Nice.
And
very
if he
nice.
does hit that upside, right? If he is that player for the entirety of the time, then it's a smash, right? It's an absolute smash. If he's that player the whole time.
Dude, we did not hit a lot of home runs last year, and Paredes hit 31.
That would have led the Toronto Blue Jays.
It would have led the Toronto Blue Jays 98 RBIs.
Would have led the Toronto Blue Jays.
Would have led the Toronto Blue Jays 71 runs. Like he smashed his ceiling.
That's your 4, that's your 5 hitter on the Toronto Blue Jays right there.
Yeah, like let's say you go out and you do get a Bellinger, Ohtani, or a Soto, like one of those mix, and then you add in a Paredes too. I mean, Soto wouldn't be in the mix.
Jesus,
we're laughing, right? So you look at your top 4, right? That's a locked-in top 4. This guy hits 5 consistently every single day. You don't think about it. You don't
even think about it.
No.
And honestly, I could see a reality where, I mean, if he's producing like that, like you move him up, right? Just because he is so good, right? And
depends on Vladdy, of course.
Depends on Vlad, depends on how Springer's doing, depends on whatever, right? But I mean, like realistically, like he could be very good in the league. Yo, have you ever thought about the possibility of, because the Angels used to do this, Blue Jays get Shohei Ohtani leadoff. They used to do that over there on the Angels.
He does steal bags.
He steals bags. he is threatening as hell, right? If you are a pitcher and that's the guy that you have to start the game with, it's like,
tough.
I have to be immaculate
That's true.
in my first at bat, right? If I miss, this is going over the fence.
I was thinking about that actually when like all these like, you know, expected lineups and like predicted lineups, like what would they look like? Talking baseball, tweeted this. What would it look like with Juan Soto and Ohtani in it?
Right.
And George Springer's at the top, and you know George Springer doesn't have the same.
It's not the same
as he used to have.
Shohei Ohtani or a Juan Soto, you know?
Absolutely. You look at George Springer and you look at his numbers kind of over the last few years, it's been going down, and it's not as exciting as it was before.
No, it's not, man. And I think really the biggest problem for me is, I mean, a 320 on base percentage is pretty average across MLB.
Yeah.
And I could be okay with it if your slugging was where it used to be, because that was always the threat. You know, it's like George Springer had that level of threat where if we miss, this is going yard.
Dude.
That is what we were missing last year. There was just not enough power from George Springer. I would not be surprised in the slightest if they start the year with Springer at the leadoff position. And if we did get Shohei Ohtani, that kind of flip-flops as the year progresses.
I think so. You might move up Ohtani. Maybe George goes and bats 4 or 5 or whoever we get. All depends. But yeah, it is shocking. Only a 4.05 slugging last year, and he got more. This is what's confusing me. Yeah, he had 4 less home runs, but doubles he had more. He had a little bit less triples. It kind of shocking that his slugging was that low, to be honest. But it was. So it is what it is. So that's another kind of thought right there. I do want to take a little bit of a transition right now. Winter meetings, everybody. They're coming up. The Blue Jays, they're actually right now. The winter meetings are starting today.
Everybody is arriving in Nashville. Yeah. They're having their cups of coffee. They're saying hello. They're shaking their hands. They're going off into the corners and like starting one of those things.
For sure. So we got to take a look and see a few kind of players and teams, and what are the predictions, what are the talks right now that are going on, and what should we expect going to this weekend. We talked a bunch about the Blue Jays. Let's kind of cap off the Blue Jays train before we move on to kind of other MLB teams and around the league.
Yeah, and I mean everything is still centered around the Jays, because I really do want to transition and talk about Cody Bellinger, because there's stuff going on with Bellinger, and that's kind of been like a silent dude that we haven't heard too much about. We just heard some stuff going on. As far as the Jays are concerned, though, Shohei Ohtani is going to sign in the next week. I believe it wholeheartedly. Right? So if he's going to sign in the next week, you need to be in every single meeting, in every single conversation, consistently calling him on the phone, getting on his agent. This is crunch time for Ross Atkins. That is going to happen very soon. I love what I'm hearing about these Isaac Paredes things.
Yeah.
I could see that taking time. I could see that definitely taking time. However, being in a winter meetings type of scenario, this is your best opportunity to really put your foot in the door there. Same with Juan Soto, right? You're not always going to get FaceTime with these San Diego Padres guys. You are going to get it this weekend. I wouldn't be surprised at all if more or deeper rumors surrounding names and players start coming about Juan Soto in the next few days.
I think you're going to see also, in addition to that, more rumors like we just saw Paredes coming out of left field. You know, of other players we didn't even expect.
Yeah, Pete Alonso, or just guys who you weren't really thinking of, but like they're going to be available. Yeah,
the names are going to be tossed around. You could even hear Vladdy again. You know, Vladdy's Alonso kind of crap going on. You're going to hear a lot going on. But in terms of predictions for the Blue Jays, trade wise, I think we get a trade done within the next 4 days.
Do you think it's the big one?
I don't know which one. I think it's going to be one that makes the most sense depending on what's happening in the free agency market.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I really do believe that Ohtani and the looming contract, that's massive. You know, part of me really just, like, if he's going to go to the Dodgers, do it. Make it happen. Right. Do it now, so then they have the opportunity to respond, right? Because the last thing that you want to see is for some of these trades to go down, the Yankees get Soto, Bellinger flies off, re-signs with the Cubs, whatever, and then Ohtani goes to the Dodgers, and it's like, oh, shit. Like, Matt Chapman want to run it back? Like, no, thank you, you know?
That's why I do believe we will make a move within the next 4 days. We're going to try, whether it be trade, and on the free agent side, we're probably going to fill out our lineups.
Yeah.
Right? We heard yesterday about Michael Brantley and Jock Pederson and IKF. We're going to make some moves to fill out that. You've seen other teams kind of do it. We're going to make those moves happen via trade, via free agency. There will be something happening. There will be a new player on the Blue Jays roster in the next 4 days.
Agreed. Shout out to the 600 legends watching this stream right now at 11:30 a.m. Let's freaking go. Good morning, all of y'all. If you haven't already done so, please hit the like button. Smash the subscribe button, everybody. We're going to be going live again tomorrow. We're going to be going live again, another 30-hour long right here. So stick with us, folks. Quick shout out to one of the sponsors of this video.
Whoa! Time for your daily Betway breather. A quick reminder that the best place to bet is on Betway. Must be 19 years of age or older to play. In collaboration with iGaming Ontario, please bet responsibly. Now, back to the content.
Shout out to Betway, everybody. If I was a betting man, that I would bet that we are going to hit 20,000 subscribers by the end of the year. That'd be a massive accomplishment for this channel.
Huge.
So if you haven't already done so, please hit the subscribe button. I promise you, you truly do change our lives for the better. Let's talk about Cody Bellinger, because it's been all silent on the Bellinger front for quite a while. Shohei Ohtani's been taking the limelight. You had Juan Soto really capture a lot of that media coverage as well. But recently, we just heard about Bellinger and how much potential money he is looking for. Spoiler alert, it's a fuckload.
It is a lot. You had Addison Yankee World, shout out to them. They had a clip of USA Today come out with an article, and one of the kind of subtitles in this article said, what marquee free agent will take the longest time before signing? And their prediction is here between Bellinger and closer Josh Hader, because, after Ohtani, shout out to whoever just subscribed, welcome, is going to be, after Ohtani, the best left-handed bat, arguably in the free agent market, is Bellinger, and then Hader is literally the best closer in baseball.
He owns the closing market,
Absolutely.
And that's going to be a nice place for him to be. I do believe he is going to break records when it comes to a closing signing. Don't want to derail us too much, but, how nice would it be if you could somehow sneak one of those in, you know?
Or like the Blue Jays grab one
little Josh Hader action.
Oh my God.
Right?
Jordan Hicks who? I don't care.
Yeah.
Sorry, Romano.
Yeah, literally.
Sorry,
Jordan Romano who,
Yeah, sorry, Romano. You're going to the setup role now.
For real, man. Completely underrated signing right there, but having Josh Hader is the type of player that could change your team a lot.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Moving on to this point right here is Bellinger, speaking of the contract, is seeking an excess of $250 million. Yeah. That's wild. And also on a side note, speaking of Hader, he wants to break Edwin Diaz's 5-year, $102 million.
Makes sense.
That makes sense.
Makes sense to me.
Wow, that's insane. You're gonna have another bullpen guy make over $100 million. That's wild.
Yeah.
But Bellinger 250, we weren't kind of expecting that. I think we were talking about earlier in the preseason or in the offseason that he'd make 160, 150, 250. Are you? What are you thinking about that?
That's a little hefty
for
me. That's a little hefty, man. I completely understand, and I do believe that he's all the way back. But there is a sliver of doubt, and because there is a sliver of doubt, when you are throwing around amounts of money like $250 million, you would immediately become the laughingstock of the entire MLB.
Yeah.
If this guy shows up next year on your team and bats for a 650 OPS, 200 batting average, like he did in the final 3 years of LA. Not saying that's what he's going to do, but if you're a GM, you have to know that if that does happen, you're fired.
Yeah.
You lose your job if that happens.
Yeah, it would definitely tank you for a bit. Whereas, Ohtani, I'm comfortable shelling out $600 million because he's pretty much a sure thing.
And let's face it, even if Ohtani sucks, you're not going to lose your job because it's Ohtani. Everyone believed in it.
Exactly.
There was no writing on the wall.
And you're going to be making more money.
It's going to be a business thing, right?
Yeah.
But if you get Cody Bellinger for a contract like that, you have to know, you have to be sure that this guy is going to pan out, because again, the media coverage, if he does suck, you have him for 10 years, 250.
I know. Well, how many years would it be? I mean, what kind of average annual value?
He's what, 28, 29 right now?
28, 29.
I believe he's 29, if I'm not mistaken.
I think
Double check me though. Double check me.
He will be 29, I think. We're looking right now, folks. He's 28. Will be
turning 29
season,
right around the beginning of next year. So, yeah, I mean, I would imagine that his contract, if it's $250 million, it's a decade.
Yeah.
It's an entire decade of Cody Bellinger.
Yeah,
He's
or at
gonna,
least like 8 to 10 or something like that.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, like, think of if it was 8 years, then his average annual value is over 30.
Yeah.
You know, if it's 10 years, it's $25 million a year, which is the same amount as George Springer. And this is the problem for me. With George Springer, and I always go back to that George Springer contract, and I completely understand different time period, different free agents this offseason, right? I mean, like, it's a different market, even though it was only 3 years ago that we signed him, right? But different time. But George Springer, even though there was a little bit of a risk with injuries, he had several seasons in a row of proven commodity better than what Bellinger did last year.
Yeah.
Several seasons in a row better than that. Bellinger, the 3 years prior to last year, was injured like crazy, was a terrible baseball player. Just truly awful.
It was awful. Yeah.
And so for that reason alone, when I hear 250, I think back to that George Springer contract and I go, I'm just not convinced that that's an amount I'm willing to spend.
Essentially, he's the next George Springer for our team, right? But
Correct.
on a longer deal and unstable, like you're saying. I do think he's back. I've said it before. Like, clearly, this was a report. I don't know if any of y'all remember, but I remember this because I remember having him as a keeper on my fantasy team.
I remember what you're gonna say.
He changed his swing after his MVP season, and I kept thinking, "What the are you doing?" Yeah. I was like, "Why would you change it after winning MVP?" And then look what happened. It all went to shit. Then he goes back. Then he goes over to Chicago, and I bet you somebody spoke to him and said, "What the fuck did you do? You almost ruined your career." No, Bellinger, no. Smack over the head. Go back to what you did at MVP, and then look what he did. Yeah. So for me, I think he goes, "Oh crap, I learned my mistake. I'm gonna be fine." So it would make sense if he batted over the course of that 8 to 10 years. If he, averaged about a 780, 800 OPS, which is because he's going to fall out, it would make sense to be worth it because the front half would be so good. I mean, if Rogers really is going all in, they might do it. They might give him the 250 if that's what it takes.
Let me put it this way then. What would you prefer for the Toronto Blue Jays, for this team? And I'm asking this to the chat as well. The 615 people in here right now, guys. Can we bump this thing up to 169 likes? 169. Shout out to whoever number 169 is. But answer me this in the chat. Who would you prefer, not only for just the Toronto Blue Jays, but for your team, if you were a fan of another team? $250 million to Cody Bellinger or $250 million to Yoshinobu Yamamoto? Who would you prefer? Because those contracts are they're looking to be around the same amount of price, right? Cody Bellinger has won MVP before, phenomenal last year, terrible the 3 years prior.
Yeah.
So there is a little bit of unsurety there. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, maybe some of the best stuff that we've ever seen, never played in the MLB.
And I'm not the Blue Jays. I'm just a random team. I'm just looking for good players. There's no preference on position.
Let's answer both. Answer both. If you're the Jays or if you are a random team.
Okay, so if I am a random team, no preference on position, I'm going Yamamoto. Because 25 years old, right? If 250, you're going to look at like 7 to 8 years. And you're going to get a lot of value. I really do think he's going to be legit based on comparing him to other international free agents that have come over and based on his MPB stats.
Yeah. The good thing about him as well is because he's so young, even if he does come over, and let's say the first year and a half is rough, which I think that we can kind of anticipate. I don't expect him to be Cy Young right away. You still have time to grow and to break out of those bad habits, right? Whereas if you're a bit older, it's kind of tough to do that.
Whereas Bellinger, right, I probably wouldn't lean because there's some uncertainty with what he's even already proven, and I don't know how that contract's going to age. Yeah, you know what I mean. And then from the Blue Jays perspective, I would go Bellinger because there's a clear need. Right, there's a clear need for a lefty power bat, and I'm willing to take that risk.
It's interesting, man. I mean, I'm hesitant because I think I do agree with you, right? If I'm a standard team, I think I do go with Yoshinobu there. Yeah. And I think because we just said that, we just kind of made that logic, that makes me a bit more hesitant to do the Bellinger thing because I think we're kind of admitting that it is kind of a bad deal in the sense where it is an overpay. So
I'm willing to take a risk if it's like 175 mil.
Sure.
You know, I'm
sure.
willing to take that risk.
Yes. Yeah. Literally, what would you do? What's the highest you would go?
Probably 200. Probably
Agreed.
200.
Agreed.
Yeah.
That's the line
Yeah.
for me if you're the
Yeah.
Blue Jays. I really do believe that if you're going over 200, like we're really pushing the line right here. Shout out to Patrick Harvey right here, $5 dono, coming in and saying, hey guys, love the channel always. Appreciate you, man. W's in the chat for the donation. I'm sensing a unicorn coming and making Toronto a more magical place. Let's go Blue Jays.
Love it.
I mean, we're listen, I want to believe, and I am believing as much as I can. It's gonna hurt. I'm gonna be emotionally wrecked, I think, for a little while if the Toronto Blue Jays miss out on Ohtani, if Juan Soto goes to the Yankees.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a hard time believing in the next free agent signs and everything like that.
Then we pay $280 for Bellinger.
Oh, no. Then we pay $200 for Chapman. You know, it's like,
that's the last thing I want, bro. I'm sorry. That's the last thing I want.
Listen, Matt Chapman, I love you. I hope that you do get the bag, man. I really hope that some team out there gives you all of the money in the world. I just hope it's not the Blue Jays.
I agree. Real quick shout out to the 608 people in the chat right now. If we can get this up to 200 likes, that'd be phenomenal. Smash that subscribe button, guys, because we're going live a lot during these winter meetings.
1,000%, dude.
And speaking of which, winter meetings. Let's take a look around the league, guys, and let's look at some predictions and some expectations from a Kerry Miller, who made this article on Bleacher Report. Shout out to Kerry for making this. And it's talking about predicting MLB free agent signings and trades during the 2023 winter meetings. This is something we can kind of stem off and kind of talk about as a community right here on Blue Jays Today.
Yeah, 100%, dude. I think the first thing that they're talking about is Yoshinobu Yamamoto actually saying that he's not going to sign this week.
Interesting, yeah.
And I do, I hear where they're coming from in that regard. I think that he's really, it's just tough with Ohtani still on the board and with Bellinger and all these proven MLB commodities still on the board. This does not mean that he's not going to get the bag. He is going to get the bag. He's absolutely going to get the bag. But it would be, I feel like it would be kind of strange to see a international player go off the board almost first. I know that you had Aaron Nola. But if we're going to get about Aaron Nola, re-signing and everything like that. But if you have an international player go off the board first, kind of weird. Just it's like there's other options available. Not saying that he's not incredible, but I do hear what they're saying.
I hear that for sure. He is ranked as the second best free agent, but the reason why he'd not go off the board this free agent or this winter meeting, is because of the dude who's number one, which is Shohei Ohtani, right?
Of course.
I don't think it's going to happen. Also, on another note, just to consider, I mean, this could be his first time that reps of him could be going in and communicating in person. I don't know. But you're probably going to hear some rumblings. You want to see what your kind of price is.
Yeah.
What's the conversation going on in the winter meeting? So yeah, I agree. But I think it should happen soon because his deadline is, I think, the first week of January. They have about 45-day window to sign. So right. he's got to sign pretty soon. So it's not going to happen.
Christmas.
Yeah. I could see after Ohtani signs, about a week later, within a week, he signs.
Yeah, agreed. Speaking of Ohtani, the next thing that this article goes into does say that Ohtani is going to sign, which is what we've been talking about. We do believe that Ohtani is going to sign, and Bleacher Report is going with the odds right now. Speaking of the odds, I'm going to take a quick look right now just to fill you guys in as to what Vegas is saying about the Blue Jays and Ohtani.
Yeah, and this to talk about this prediction right here, and you're going to highlight it with those odds. I mean, Dodgers definitely front runners, but I said it yesterday. Why? Because they're the Dodgers, and everyone's it's the easy prediction, right? If you want to make the safest prediction, it's the Dodgers. Why? Just because they're the Dodgers.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going to agree that he signs. Probably the Dodgers, because again, they're the Dodgers, but I do think that you might see a surprise team. There's 50-50 chance.
Wow. Okay, so currently, it is it's turning into a two-horse race right now, everybody.
Wow.
The LA Dodgers are at a negative 150 to sign Shohei Ohtani.
That's pretty good.
Whereas the Toronto Blue Jays are at plus 250. So just going off the top of my dome right there, implied odds, they're probably thinking the Blue Jays at around a 20 chance.
Hey!
Yeah. Maybe even a little bit more than that, actually.
That's pretty good.
And the Dodgers are a little bit better than 50. So, interesting there.
I would say Jays are about a 20% chance, and like Dodgers probably like 65.
Yeah.
You know?
No, listen, man. They're Vegas for a reason.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
know what
They
they're
know.
doing. Shout out to Rahul very quickly with the $6.99 dono coming
Let's
in and saying,
go.
I believe Ohtani asked Jays to make a move for Soto based on their conversation. Soto is likely for the Jays. Big splash. Jays could go after Turner, third baseman. Justin Turner is a very interesting option.
Yeah, we
there.
talked about him
We did
once,
talk
yeah.
about him a little bit earlier. I mean, I'm totally okay with it if that's the direction that they want to go in. Now that we're flirting with the idea of potentially getting an Isaac Paredes, like maybe my I don't know, my scope is a little bit higher right now than a Justin Turner. But if that is the route, if we do get another superstar and Justin Turner is the fill-in, and then a Ravis Martinez following the year that's our guy, I'm cool with that route.
I think speaking of Justin Turner, not to derail the conversation, but I think a Justin Turner could be a free agent that you see sign this winter meetings. You know, we're talking about filling up your team. That's a great guy to fill up your team.
Yeah.
Hey, we want to really spend the money on a, Shohei Ohtani, maybe bring in Justin Turner. Hey, we filled out our third base spot. Hey, we figured that out. And that doesn't necessarily stop you from bringing in, let's say if you did want, because I know the Jays love Matt Chapman. It doesn't necessarily stop you from bringing in Matt Chapman because, Justin Turner could play a little bit of first. I think he can even play a little bit of second if I'm not mistaken. But it's just adding another bat to your team.
Yeah, and when we're talking about the free agency floodgates opening up or staying closed because of Shohei Ohtani, that's really only applicable to the 10 best free agents. Like those are the guys that are impacted by Ohtani's free agency, whereas the rest of them, I mean, is Justin Turner's contract going to change because Ohtani signed for $600 million? Not at all, right? I mean, like, he is still Justin Turner. You know what you're getting. If he's going to be a $5 million type of guy, then that's what he's going to be, or whatever the contract might be. So I could 100% see those filler roles get filled up. The Turners of the world, the Michael Brantleys of the world, those guys who are just coming in and going to help your team play on the bench. 1,000%. That's going to happen this winter meeting.
And that's literally my prediction. It's an easy prediction. Jays are going to make one of those moves. Quick shout out to Matthew Jenkins with a $7 donation.
Hey,
let's go.
Let's get some W's in the chat right here for Matthew Jenkins. Good morning, boys. Last dono for a while. Paying for school. Go
good
Jays,
for you.
go. Praying for good luck. Shout out to Matthew Jenkins. Go fucking kill it at school, man.
Learn.
Yeah, learn
Education.
all the stuff, dude. Learn all the stuff. We appreciate your donation so much, man. But literally, save your money, man. Like we completely understand. So
next one on this kind of Bleach Report, we were just talking about him, and that Cody Bellinger, his contract size and length is the biggest stunner of the week, and I think we're kind of, we kind of talked about that in length. 250 could be the stunner.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I mean, I feel like I've said what I need to say about that. But let's explore other options before jumping into that one. I think
Ohtani and Soto.
For real.
No,
and I think that is why we are doing what we're doing.
Exactly.
Moving on to the next thing right here. You flashing over to another kind of dark horse team to get in on everybody. I'm kind of surprised that we have not heard more about these guys. But the Atlanta Braves, they're projecting them to trade for a starting pitcher. We haven't talked a whole lot about the starting pitchers as far as trade markets go.
No.
But they're on to something here. There is a lot of guys who are very good at baseball who are available. Bieber, Corbin Burns.
Damn, yeah.
That's a Cy Young guy right there. Glasnow.
Yeah.
Thank you, please. Dylan Cease, strikeout king.
Yeah. That's huge, man.
Those are some... Very rarely do you see, like, starting pitchers of that caliber available for trade in the offseason,
Yeah, I mean, two of these teams right here, it's straight up just because their contracts are getting too big. Burns and Glasnow on the Brewers and the Rays. Dylan Cease, I mean, the White Sox are in shambles. The way I looked at the White Sox 3 years ago and the way I look at them now is completely different. They are in shambles. So any value you can get and squeeze out of Dylan Cease, you're going to do in your rebuild. And then Shane Bieber, he hasn't been the same guy ever since his injury and coming back to Cleveland. And his deal's coming up, so trying to flip him for something might be a good idea for the Guardians if anybody has some sort of upside. Blue Jays, probably not, but Atlanta does need a starter. And speaking of Atlanta, Yeah, where the hell are they? Why are we not hearing about them on Ohtani?
I think that you're gonna hear some stuff, man. If they're not in Ohtani, like they're gonna do something. As we know, AA runs the show over there, right? And like we're talking about a GOAT.
Maybe it's because AA's filled up his payroll so much already.
Well, he's done a pretty damn good job. At the end of the day, like do they really need someone? Like probably not. They are phenomenal at baseball already, right? But I would not be surprised at all to see AA pull out, like really get to work at these winter meetings. Atlanta's going to make a big move. If it's not a trade, they're going to sign someone. AA is just too smart, man.
He is, man. We also got another prediction right here saying Blake Snell stays in the NL West.
Would you be upset about a Blake Snell to the Jays type
not
of thing?
Oh, God, no.
Well,
why would I be upset?
No, I hear
That's
what
amazing.
You're saying. Yeah, no, I do hear what you're saying. I mean, it's not, I'll be honest, it's not my favorite thing, just because I know that he is, like, definitely getting up there in age.
Right,
and he's had his up and down seasons. I'd still be all over it. But like, as far as the Jays are concerned, like, we do have a lot of money in kind of aging veteran pitchers.
Yeah.
Not saying that he's going to fall off anytime soon, but he's going to be 31.
31.
And he was obviously phenomenal last year, but I wouldn't want to overpay necessarily.
No, and he's gonna probably command a decent penny because after Ohtani, after Yamamoto, it's him. He's the third one up there.
1,000%.
And I do agree with this prediction right here. He could end up as a Diamondback, a Dodger, or Giants. Like those are teams that all need starting pitching. He's familiar with the NL West. I think it makes all sense, dude. I looked at the Dodgers rotation. They need someone like a Blake Snell. Their rotation honestly kind of sucks right now.
Yeah, it has taken a massive hit, dude. It has taken a massive hit. Ever since the Trevor Bauer stuff went on, it's kind of been like a slow. steady decline, right? And you have Kershaw, who is available.
Yeah,
Kershaw's
available.
A free agent.
That's
Nobody
insane.
talks about that, right?
Right?
Like their rotation has 1,000% gone downhill. So they are gonna get a starting pitcher. Honestly, that to me is one of the bigger reasons why I think the Toronto Blue Jays might have a really good shot at getting Ohtani, because if I'm the Dodgers, like, yes, we want Ohtani and we need Ohtani and he'd be amazing for the future and everything like that, but we really need Yamamoto. We really need Yamamoto.
You really want to replenish that pitch staff. Granted, Ohtani is going to replenish that pitch staff next year, the following year.
But do you want to waste a year of Freeman and Betts and
do you
want, like, they're getting older too?
That's the thing. Like, how much more? I mean, with JD Martinez gone, you have a DH spot opened up for Ohtani, but like, how many more bats do you need?
Sure.
And I mean, granted, this is a Shohei Ohtani. I'm talking ridiculous. Of course, you'd want Ohtani. You'd make it happen for Ohtani, but like, damn, like their lineup's already so good. Just go get your pitchers, man.
No,
I'm trying to convince them to like get off Ohtani.
Yes,
get off him.
Get off Ohtani. The guy is not pitching in 2024, folks. This is not what you need right now.
You don't want Ohtani? You kidding me?
Blake Snell.
No.
Blake Snell would make so much sense for them, and I do see him. I see him commanding a contract of 150, maybe plus. Because if you think about Kevin Gausman was around the exact same age when he signed his deal, coming off of a worse year than Cy Young. Like literally the best year that you can do. So I could 1,000% see Blake Snell commanding 150, and I think that's probably why I don't think I'd want the Jays to necessarily be in on that, considering how much money we have already.
You want to get the bats. Shout out to Nathan
right here with the starter membership. Let's freaking go. Also, Tim Lacey saying, you guys are awesome.
Thank you.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. We're literally, like you said, we're going live again tomorrow, guys. I imagine that because we're probably going to be going live after work around the 5:30, 6 o'clock mark, whenever it is. I would imagine that there is going to be a ton of stuff just transpiring between now and then, everybody. I do think that we're going to be having a massive live stream tomorrow night, folks.
Oh, I know, because there's more than 24 hours going to happen between now and then, so that's going to be awesome. I can't wait for that, man. Let's finish off this Bleacher Report article for predictions for the winter meetings here, folks. Tyler Glasnow gets dealt among other Rays. You heard about Isaac Paredes being a sneaky, surprising free agent or a trade target for the Toronto Blue Jays because they need to dump some salary. And I think Glasnow, if you want to get the ball rolling, you really want to dump some salary. Tyler Glasnow is the guy to get it done. You want to keep Rosarina. You want to keep Paredes. That helps out your lineup, but you're going to find pitching in other ways, Rays. Dump the guy who's costing you way too much money.
This is why I really don't understand the Isaac Paredes rumors.
No, me either.
They are surprising to me because
it's only $4 million expected.
It's only $4 million. This is not an expensive thing for you, and it makes me wonder if maybe, because it wasn't just the Jays who were interested in him. I think there was Mariners might have been interested in Paredes as well. But it makes me wonder if the deal is actually kind of centered around Glasnow.
Right.
And Paredes is part of it to make the deal go.
Can you imagine we trade for Glasnow and Paredes? Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like I don't get it from a Rays standpoint if you don't do that. Right? Because you need to dump the money. You want the prospects. Take our money, take our big money, and take a really good guy. And if that was the case, I mean, we have to give up a shitload to do that.
Dude, if they end up trading Glasnow, they trade Paredes, and they trade a Rosarina, which are 3 guys in trade rumors right now. Are the Rays going to be good next year?
I really hope.
I don't
stink
think
it up,
so,
dude.
man.
I'm so sick of the Rays being. Listen, Rays fans. Actually, what am I saying? There is no Rays fans. I have no interest in the Tampa Bay Rays being good at baseball anymore. Listen, Baltimore. I have a deep respect for Baltimore and what they had to go through to get to the place where they are right now. You're allowed to still be good. Boston, I don't necessarily hate Boston. If you want to be okay, then you can be okay.
Yeah.
Rays and Yankees.
Yeah, just stay down. Stay
there.
Also, huge shout out to Abba Edgar with the
Massive dono! Let's go.
go.
$50 donation from the king.
Let's go.
Good morning, guys. Jays will get Soto and Ohtani this week.
Bro, Abba, I hope you're right, man. Dude, I hope so. That would be nuts.
He says, I remember, we were bringing this up yesterday.
Yes, we did.
I remember in 1993, the Jays added Ricky Anderson and Paul Monitor. They won back-to-back World Series.
Dude, and even before that, didn't they trade for Joe Carter and they traded for the guy who shall not be named anymore?
Right.
Alomar. Like, that's nuts, man. Like,
no,
let's do it.
It is insane, dude. It's absolutely insane. They've been known to do this stuff in the past when they see the window. Thank you once again for such a massive dono. Abba, we love you. We appreciate every single one of you guys who has donated, liked the stream, subscribed, everything like that. Hit us with some of your questions in the chat, guys. We're gonna start taking those. I do want to go into fantasy land a little bit. We've been rumored with Ohtani. We've been rumored with Soto. We've been rumored with Isaac Paredes now. We've been linked to Bellinger. We've been linked to Yamamoto. We've been linked to Matt Chapman. Literally, you name them, we've been linked to them. At this point, now that the table is set, because we had a different expectation before. Now that the table is set, what is your perfect off-season, and then what is the off-season that you will be disappointed with?
Okay, well, am I going I'm going fantasy land, right?
Well, you're not, but listen, it's not Fantasyland anymore.
I know, because it could happen.
It has been proven that this is being talked about, right?
All right, perfect off-season. You sign Ohtani. You trade for Juan Soto. Of course, that's perfect.
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah, I know. Listen, that would be perfect. And then you trade for Isaac Paredes.
Fuck
me. You literally do you just pump the prospects out. Screw them. We're getting our third baseman in the future. We're getting 1 year of Juan Soto. We're getting Ohtani forever. Perfect. Oh, and then you go sign Josh Hader. That's the perfect offseason.
Oh no, you're right. Listen, I can't argue with you on that, man. Like, I certainly cannot argue with you in the slightest. That would be a historically amazing offseason.
Yeah. Realistically.
Okay. Yeah, maybe we got to pump the brakes just a little bit. Quick shout out here before you do that.
Yeah.
Deep Dive Jays,
Let's go.
$6.99 dono. What is your Soto trade predictions? What will we give up? We will answer that very shortly.
Okay, so realistic, and it is realistic that we get Ohtani. We get Ohtani.
Yeah.
If we get Ohtani, probably not trading for Soto. I think actually trading for Isaac Paredes makes a lot more sense.
Me too.
Because then we go and we add that third base. That's
Listen, you're walking down the same path that I was going to walk down here. So
Ohtani, Paredes, and then we get some filler guys like a Jock Pederson for the outfield. You go and you get some sneaky bullpen guys, maybe add 1 or 2
that we don't even know.
That we don't even know. They're good. They're quality. The team's been scouting them, and then maybe add some depth pitching starters for your minor leagues and everything, because we need some depth badly. So for me, that's realistic, and that would be an A grade season, A plus. Actually,
I completely agree, dude. That's exactly the route that I was gonna go. If Ohtani is not on the table for me, I would still be over the moon, 100% content with a Soto trade. With a if you trade for Soto, sign me Candelario, right? You trade for Soto, you sign Candelario, you bring in some type of bullpen guys, and maybe a starting pitcher that we're not necessarily talking about, but somebody that you could see putting up a solid year, maybe a veteran guy, just in case Manoah's not where he needs to be. And then you get your filler guys. That wouldn't necessarily be the A++ of what you're saying.
Right.
But if you can trade for Soto and
yeah.
get Candelario and do all that, you fill your holes, you set yourself up for the future. I'm over the moon about it.
And you know what? And then this isn't off-season necessarily, but someone mentioned it. You call up Addison Barger, and you have him kind of come in and test the waters.
We are forgetting that there is guys there that have upside. I mean, you know, remember Davis Schneider?
Yeah.
That's a guy that could be an
guy.
MLB player,
You
right?
never
That
know.
guy could play at this level, right? Barger could play at this level. Horwitz could play at this level, right? So there are a lot of players, internally speaking, that could show up and could have big years. I actually want to take a little bit of a deep dive here from Deep Dive Jays. Shout out with the $6.99 donation asking, what is your Soto trade predictions? It's been a minute since we've pulled up the trade simulator.
Trade sim?
You want to bring it up?
Yeah, dude, the trade sim has us giving up a lot. That's what I've seen on Twitter.
Okay. I'm willing to take it with a grain of salt. Also, 619 people watching right now. Shout out and thank you to everybody who's tuned in, who has liked the stream. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the channel. We will give you a big shout out, and your name should pop up right here. Road to 20,000 subscribers. We are moving quick, folks. We are moving quick. And a quick shout out to Brandon Lee with a $2 donation, saying if we sign Ohtani, we go all in and get Soto. I would, dude. You want to talk about the A++ of everything?
Oh, that would be
it.
You can make no more moves, and that would be A++.
People make documentaries about this offseason if that happens. And the Toronto Blue Jays, listen, if they actually did that, it would be a crime to not win the World Series.
Right.
Let me put it that way. It would be a crime to not win the World Series if the Toronto Blue Jays did that.
We also have a little Bob Nightingale thing. I'm just making sure it is what it is. Wow, we actually have a little bit of a Juan Soto Yankee update here, everybody. Let's bring it up.
Let's bring it up. We are going to answer your Soto trade question right after this, but we got to run with the news. Bob, with a little Bobby bomb. The Yankees and Padres trade talks are at a complete stalemate.
Yeah.
Let's go, baby!
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. Toronto Blue Jays coming in to steal the deal. With the Yankees saying the Padres requested 7 players.
Oh my God.
Outfielder Juan Soto
7
is unrealistic.
Okay. Well, let's dive into this because this affects the Jays.
We might need to pump the brakes here.
We go. Because if they're asking for Michael King, who's like a bona fide stud, Clark Schmidt, who's breaking out, Drew Thorpe, not familiar, Randy Vasquez,
Johnny Brito. I know Johnny Brito.
And 2 prospects, and then they're taking Trey Grisham as well.
Grisham is pretty good, though.
I thought he was ass.
Really?
I thought he was ass, at least for the bat. Let's take a look.
I thought, maybe I'm going to be proven wrong.
They might need, because they want outfield depth, so Grisham would help out. Yeah, his bat's kind of doo-doo, 198. He's just a glove.
Oh.
What a stash, though. That's a Yankee stash if I've ever seen one.
That's a IKF in the outfield if I've ever seen one.
Literally.
Excuse me, I retract my statement. He is very good defensively, though.
Yeah,
2
he's
gold
really
gloves.
good. Yeah.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
That's players that want it now, and then players that they want for the future. Dude, there's 1 year, Padres. What do you want? They gotta come down. They gotta come down to earth, man. That's not realistic.
Listen, I understand that he is a generational talent, but like, holy crap, man.
That's too much.
Because if let's put it in perspective of Toronto Blue Jays, because I mean, to go back to the question right here, what do we have to give up? If this is the asking price,
wow.
Listen, I was shout out to Hogwatch. Shout out to Hogwatch on YouTube. If you guys are and all interested in the San Diego Padres or anything like that, go check out what he does over there. Covers them beautifully. But he messaged us privately on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it, asking what would we be comfortable with giving up. and he was throwing around the potential of Ricky Tiedemann and Manoah.
Yeah.
And to that, I was like, that's an overpay.
That's an
I don't
overpay.
think that's going to happen.
That might have to be the price.
If this is what they're asking for.
Two pitchers. Two
pitchers. Good pitchers.
Yeah.
Young, so it's, I mean, I kind of laughed him out of the room when he asked me that, but he could be onto something, which is a scary thought.
If that's the thought, if that's the price for Soto, like, look, I'm always for, like, get the player, but, like, damn, that's a combined 10 years of potentially great quality pitching from two players. That's for 1 year of, granted, Hall of Fame caliber Soto, but that's too much for me. That's a little bit too much for the future.
I completely agree.
The Blue Jays are trying to extend the winning window, not shorten it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I mean, like, listen, like you gotta, when you give up that much, you gotta start thinking about some of the downsides here. What if Soto gets injured?
Yeah.
It's 1 year.
God.
What if he gets injured in the first month of baseball and you traded away all of this capital for a literally nothing?
Yeah. It's scary. That's scary.
A possibility, right? Like, when you invest so heavily in one player, that could happen. Shout out to Nathan Boswell here. What happened to the Candelario rumors? They're still around, but it's just that there is so many other things going on right now that you can't really focus too deep on them. I do imagine the Jays are going to still be in on it. Let's take a look now at what we would have to give up with that recent information coming out that the Padres want that much. And we've heard so many conflicting reports, because I also heard Jeff Passan earlier this week come out and say that the price isn't going to be what you expected. The Padres are not going to get what they paid for.
And that's ridiculous, because what the Padres are asking are basically the same return for what they got for him. You're not going to get that. He costs $30 million. He has 1 year left. Buddy, no, you're not going to get that price. They got to come down to earth, or else they're never going to trade him. They're never going to trade him.
Yeah, I completely agree.
I think they have to, though, because they actually have to trade him. So they don't have, the leverage here. The other teams are helping you and your organization. You have to trade him. So it's got to come down.
I agree, man. I do agree. I think they're opening position is starting high and then seeing what they can do. From a Blue Jays standpoint, let's put it this way then. Maybe this doesn't get the deal done, but what are you comfortable with giving up, right? What are you comfortable? I've seen some people on Twitter saying Vladimir Bo's going the other direction. That's BS. That's not true. Listen, there's no way that the Jays would ever do something like that unless they know for sure that Juan Soto is locked down. Right. There's no way, right? That's the only thing that you do. If you've had the conversations with him and saying, the second that I get over to Toronto, I sign my 10-year extension, then you do that. But you don't do that unless that's been discussed, and I know that hasn't been discussed. So those guys, they're off the table.
Right. Well, for me, just according to baseball trade values, and I disagree, Ricky Tiedemann, well, actually, we talked about it yesterday. I do agree. Getting Ricky Tiedemann for Soto is pretty good.
Right.
That's a pretty good deal. Like, literally, that would be an overpay according to baseball trade values.
And is this something that you are comfortable with?
Like I said before, you might have to. If you want it, like, obviously it's going to be sad, but once I see Juan Soto show up to the Jays for 1 year and he dominates, hopefully, then I'll forget about Ricky Tiedemann.
Right.
Yeah,
so this is something that you'd be comfortable with doing.
Yeah.
I have to. Would you be comfortable with putting anything else on the deal?
Like, what other kind? If it's for low guys, I don't care about, sure, but if it's like that and we're talking and an Alek Manoah, not at all.
Yeah.
Just not at all.
I'm not.
It's one or the other for me.
I'm not
That's
comfortable giving up both, because you also got to factor in, right? We need one of those guys.
Yeah, we do.
If you trade away Manoah, I'm fine with it, because the idea is that Ricky Tiedemann is going to fill that hole in a year. He is going to be your guy now that is your homegrown, talented ace that can eat up innings on a cheap contract. That's what that is, right? So I'm okay with that. I'm also okay with giving up Ricky Tiedemann, but then you have to hold on to Alek Manoah because
you're picking one or the other.
You can't do both.
Yeah, you
cannot do both.
No.
So I don't think that that's going to happen. And if that is the ask, then I think that you need to leave the table if you're the Blue Jays.
Yeah, you can't be offering more value. Look at this, already 45.6, 23.8. Look, Padres, that's too much. So no. I think it's one or the other, man. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and if they were to do additional pieces, right? So if it is Ricky Tiedemann and something, or if it's Manoah and something, it can't be it can't be Ricky Tiedemann or Ralvis Martinez to me.
No,
because
that's
that,
way too much.
Well, exactly, because that is basically what they paid to get Juan Soto 2 years ago.
Yeah,
and
plus some like everyday player kind of guys.
Literally,
like
no,
it's just too much.
You're giving us half of the contract that you traded for. Therefore, it needs to be half of the value that you paid.
You know what? So you know what? I see this Isaac Paredes. I see someone in the chat, Poggers Mento, talking about what's happening with this Isaac Paredes. Blue Jays are in on him. I could see. Blue Jays are like, oh, they started talking to the Padres, saying like, you want what?
Right.
You want Ricky T, you want Manoah, you want Barger. Whoa.
Okay, listen, we can get a better deal over here for 4 years of this guy. Granted, not Juan Soto caliber, but we'll give up less for 4 years of control.
Exactly. So that's what you're probably seeing as a shift over, like, oh god, that's not the value that that's not the trade we were expecting.
Mm-hmm.
So I look, if Soto's going to cost too much, we have to pass. We have to pass because, again, it is going to be just 1 year, and he will hit the free agency market, and 29 other teams are going to be in on him.
Is it different for you if they can get the extension done?
They won't be done before the season ends. That's apparently the rumors.
Hey, listen, man. I also heard rumors that the Blue Jays would never be in on Ohtani, that we wouldn't be able to get him. I also heard rumors that we've heard. Listen, I'm just saying. I know that that's what's been come out.
Yeah.
However, things change all the time.
For sure.
So
I do imagine, though, a player of Juan Soto's caliber coming over to a team for 1 year isn't going to sign before the season. They're going to hit free agent. Like the free agency.
But
like,
but would it change for you if they can get him extended?
When? Like before the season or like just in general?
In
if we're trading to extend him?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. If I know if we're going to extend him, if I know for a fact,
like Ross is like we're gonna get it done.
We're Mookie Betts.
Happening.
It's a Mookie Betts situation. We're gonna trade and we're gonna extend him.
We're gonna get him.
Then yeah, I would trade Ricky and Ralvis Martinez and other people
because that that completely changes everything. Where now you have a generational player for potentially the rest of his career.
Exactly. Absolutely.
It's just the control, really. It's just the control.
That's exactly what it is.
Shout out to Matthew Jenkins here. Am I lying, or did you say that you were going to have your last Ono recently, or was that something else? I could be completely wrong. But shout out for the donation right there. Don't forget the value of Bowden Francis breakout. That's true, right? I mean, again, the Blue Jays do have a lot of young guys potentially ready to do some work.
He had a good season last year. Yeah. Obviously, way different caliber. Different caliber.
If it's going to cost all of them, though, then again, you have to be out on Soto unless you know for sure you can get Juan Soto extended. Mm-hmm. That's the caveat right there. Mm-hmm. Let's take a few more questions, guys, and then we will hop off. I imagine there's going to be a lot of different rumors coming out in the next little bit. Thank you so much for making this such an incredible live stream so far the morning, guys.
Yeah.
637 people watching along, and it's noon right now, so you guys are all legends. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the channel. Like we said, we're very close to 20,000, and I do hope that we're going to have one hell of a live stream when that 20,000 marks. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if right now we could hit 19.5K. So if you haven't already surprised, then please make sure to do that.
Yeah, and guys, we are for sure going to go live tomorrow around 5 or 6 o'clock, but if something breaks, Juan Soto closing in on a deal, Ohtani, he says he wants the Jays, then we're going to go live.
Yeah.
It's going to happen, folks.
Connor with a question saying, if you could have the option to sign Josh Hader, would you do it? If so, why would you? Absolutely, right? I mean, you're talking about not only just the best closer in baseball, and I have to look back at the statistics, but I would imagine that he is, putting up historical numbers, right?
Yeah.
He is just so far and above everybody else. This is a Hall of Famer. He is going to go down if he continues what he's doing as one of the best closers ever.
Yeah, 100%.
If you can get that guy on your team to finish out the game, fuck yeah.
Actually, I do want to look. This is the best closer of all time.
Ever, for sure.
Mariano Rivera. He's a Hall of Famer. Let's compare the stats.
Okay, so this guy is better, for sure, but not that much better.
652 saves.
That's a crap load of saves.
Hader's got
165.
165. Okay. He's got a lot of work to do.
He's got a lot of work to do, man. He's got a lot of work to do. But listen.
Yeah.
The point still stands. that he is on track to be the Hall of Famer.
He could definitely make a
He's
valid
He's
case.
not Rivera good, but he is still pretty damn good, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I do think that you'd absolutely have to go after it. He is worth the biggest closing contract ever. He is absolutely worth that. And if you can lock him down, like having a closer in those games in the playoffs, in those critical like series, you know, defining games. Just massive, man. It makes all the difference.
And yeah, I'd pay over $100 million for Josh Hader, who is today's #1 closer. Absolutely.
Exciter says, "Why would Cleveland trade J-Ram?" I don't think they would. Is that
trading.
something that's happening? I don't think
I don't think so.
No, I mean, I think that once you locked him onto that contract, very team-friendly contract, might I add to you.
Yeah.
That guy is going to be there forever. What do you guys think of the Blue Jays' interest in Isaac Paredes? He can make an impact. We've talked about it pretty deeply on the show already, but. Absolutely all over it. This is your third baseman for the future. What's beautiful about it is Orelvis Martinez and Addison Barger, they can be involved in the deal, and I will not be upset about it because you're just literally flipping. You're saying, okay, we'll take a proven commodity. You guys take the prospect, the cheap prospects. If he's good, great. If not, we have this guy who we know can play at this level.
I agree. So I got a fun one here. Where was it? Oh, yeah, from Reno saying, right now, will you still hate Atkins if we get Ohtani and Soto? Absolutely not. I will not hate Atkins. I mean, I was frustrated. I don't think I've ever hated Atkins. He was kind of the scapegoat for our reason that we lost last year and we got swept. So I never hated him. I still appreciate what he's done for this ball team and bringing us out of like the rebuild era. If he got Juan Soto and Ohtani, dude's a GOAT. Dude literally just made the largest free agent signing in North American history, in North American sports history. How could you hate that guy?
Yeah.
You know?
No, and I don't think I hate Atkins now. I am frustrated with Atkins, and I also do believe that probably somebody needed to take the fall from this past year, and nobody did.
Yeah.
But that puts the pressure on for this upcoming year, where it's like, this is it. If you don't do it, then you're gone. Shapiro may be gone. Schneider gone. It's going to be a cleaning house.
It's definitely
type of situation.
Especially if we do get a large player superstar and we do the same thing or worse, people are gone.
Imagine the memes
my God.
of the Jays getting Ohtani and getting swept in the wild card again.
There'd be comparisons like, wow, Blue Jays new Angels?
We might have to shut down the channel. I don't know if I could show my face on the internet anymore.
It would be embarrassing, bro.
Like
It'd
that,
be so embarrassing.
that would be the most embarrassing thing. I'd rather you didn't get him and still get swept than get him and then get swept. Right? That's where everyone loses their job, and we become Baltimore Orioles today after that. You know.
Aaron says, "Would you put Schneider in a trade package for Soto?" Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Listen, Schneider had, and again, I'm really excited about David Schneider, But we're talking, what, a month and a half of incredible baseball?
Yeah.
Maybe that.
The September he fell off.
Yeah,
so.
Right? So it's like, you know what Soto is, and if they're thinking highly of Davis Schneider, as I think teams should be right now, then 1,000% you can do it. He's not on the no-trade list. There's almost no one on the Toronto Blue Jays right now who is on the no-trade list, in my opinion, when you're talking about a caliber player like Juan Soto.
Absolutely. Any other questions we got here, folks?
Kirk better have a good season. He is gonna, baby.
He's ripped.
He's getting shredded.
Jacked.
My guy, the captain, is coming back, folks. He's gonna be phenomenal next year. Book it. Kirk, I don't know if you can even bet on this, but if you can bet on Silver Sluggers, bet on Alejandro.
Oh, I believe it. Oh, there's Adley Rutschman now. That's
no
the one problem.
I'm not concerned. I'm not concerned, man.
Damn, bro.
I know what he's going to do. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in on this beautiful Sunday morning. We appreciate every single one of you for liking, subscribing, asking your questions, participating in the community. Every one of you guys makes this the most electric Toronto Blue Jays community on the fucking planet. You guys are amazing. We're going to be live again tomorrow. Hopefully some news breaks between now and then.
Guys, if you haven't already, hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, and as always, guys, go Jays, go!